Okay. Very good evening to all of you. Once again, very important discussion about amendment now. We will discuss the once again very good evening discussion towards very important section and amendment done in 2019 Finance Act. Afterwards, again taxation amendment act come in place where a lot of changes has been done. Now, since we have a limited time, we will utilize maximum time to get maximum output. First of all, I would like to share this particular PPT, and accordingly we will move with the major amendment in a Finance Act 2019 and afterwards. And first of all, very best wishes to all of you for this exam. Now, one by one, we will take the amendments, and you are requested to please give me your email ID if you want this particular slide and PPT. One amendment done in head salary, that very simple amendment, 40,000, that standard deduction is enhanced to 50,000, right? That this particular standard deduction replaced the transport allowance and medical reimbursement, as you know, in 2018 Finance Act, right? Now question arises, if there is more than one employer, then will you be able to get 50,000 separately deduction? Is it? No, not at all. Only one time 50,000 deduction will be available to the assessee, right? First amendment. Now, second amendment, that is under the head house property. Section 23, where taxpayer is allowed to open two houses as a self-occupied, right? Earlier it was only one house. Now question is a 24B deduction of rupees 2 lakhs, aggregate monetary limit of rupees 2 lakhs. Now this is done. Now there is again very much awaited exemption is concerned under section 54, where you can see capital gain under section 54 जो हम बात करते हैं exemption है, that will be exempted, right? What amendment was done? Where any capital gain arising on sale of long-term residential house, right? And capital gain does not exceed 90 rupees 2 crores. Then taxpayer is allowed to invest in two residential houses in India as well. Two residential. Earlier it's only, and this option the taxpayer. Mind if it's like we have MCQs as well. So we will be very careful while reading the amendments, because as far as MCQ is concerned, very minute question can be asked, right? Where we need to like extra and intelligent mind while answering that. Capital gain arising from transfer of a long-term capital asset, being a residential house property by the eligible assessee utilized for subscription in equity shares of an eligible startup. This amendment was done even before 2019, but there are certain changes which is again proposed, even implemented in this particular section 54 GB. What was that? Extension in the date of transfer of residential house property for investment in eligible startup is from March 19 to March 21, right? Now it is extended to 21. Clear. Reduction of minimum shareholding criteria from 50 to 25%. Mind it. MCQ is there. Third, relaxation in condition restricting transfer of new asset. In this particular section, we need to purchase a new asset. Then restriction on that is now reduced to from 5 years to 3 years. Clear? This is all done. Now, as far as deduction is concerned, has been inserted, right? As you know, for deduction up to very simple, 1.50 lakhs for interest on loan taken for financial institution for a residential house property. Very simple. A stamp duty does not exceed 45 lakhs, right? We don't need to discuss much about this particular section. Again, ATEB, right, has been inserted to provide for a deduction of rupees 1.5 lakhs in respect of interest on loan taken for purchase of an EV, electronic vehicle. एडिशनल जो नया सेक्शन आया वो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक व्हीकल के लिए, माइंड इट कहीं भी ये लाइन इंसर्ट की जा सकती है फॉर एडिशनल डिडक्शन फ्रॉम एनी फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, राइट? डिडक्शन. नाउ रिबेट, earlier it was 3,50,000 up to total income, right? Now it has been increased to total income up to 5 lakhs, right? Rebate, mind it, 5 lakhs up to, there is no tax. Meaning thereby जो 5% rate है 250 पे, that if we talk about in a tax term, then 12,500 rebate will be there. But what about if total income exceed 5 lakh rupees? Let's assume if total income is 5 lakh 1 rupees, then will the assessee be eligible to get this 12,500 rebate? Not at all. No rebate will be given if total income exceed rupees 5 lakhs. Yes, definitely up to 5 lakhs rebate will be there. You don't need to pay any tax, single penny of amount. But it exceed 5 lakhs, definitely no rebate will be there. Not for a single rupee, right? Now, exemption. Very interesting as far as non-resident is concerned and international taxation is concerned. Exemption of interest income of non-resident, mind it, if we talk about the section 10(4)(c), be with me, very important as far as non-resident is concerned. Exemption of interest income of a non-resident, mind it, on issue of rupee denominated bonds, right, from Indian company or business trust referred to in section, as we know, 194 LC. This is effect from April 2019, meaning thereby any interest received by non-resident on bonds, rupee denominated bond, any Indian company, that interest will be exempted, or that even period is defined for that particular rupee denominated bond that should be issued during between this period. Right, interest, even interest can be received after that, but that particular rupee denominated bond should be issued in this particular period. Now next, exemption 10(4)(c). Any income by way of interest payable, mind it, IFSC का नया concept आया. Any interest payable to a non-resident, mind it, to a non-resident by any unit located in an international financial service center, right? Any center, IFSC center, गांधीनगर अभी एक IFSC की बात है, वहाँ पे already set up है. तो IFSC center is like a SEJ. We can say it's, if we want to compare it, then any unit located in IFSC and they are paying non-resident interest, then that interest will be exempted. right? But that interest should be given on money borrowed by IFSC, unit of IFSC situated in IFSC after the 1st day of September 2019. A lot of amendment has been done in 2019. The year which is relevant for our exam, 1920, right? Exemption under section 10(4)(c). Increase in exemption limit on payment by NPS to SSC. If we remember, earlier it was 40%. If any amount payable to SSC under NPS, then exemption was 40%. Now this exemption limit increased from 40 to 60%. Very important amendment as far as NPS is concerned. Now a lot of amendment has been done in TDS, and of course, as far as final exam is concerned, there again short set question from the TDS chapter. Now the major amendment in TDS particular chapter is 194N. That will be we will discuss soon after few slides, right? Now, first amendment, there is amendment in 140A3, right? One amendment in 140A3(1), where interest limit is enhanced from 10,000 to 40,000, right? If you see this particular 40,000, in case of a payer is a bank, earlier it was TDS exemption जो limit है up to 10,000, no TDS was there. Now this limit has been increased to 40,000 in case of payer is a bank, interest, cooperative society, and post office. If the payer is senior citizen, then this limit will be increased to 50,000, right? No need to discuss further. Now again amendment has been done, 194I, that is related to rent. Earlier up to 1,80,000 in a year, no need to deduct any TDS. Now this limit has been increased from 180 to 240, right? This again amendment. Now a major amendment was done in 194M. TDS on payment by individual, mind it, and HUF to contractors and professional. New section 194M, mind it, this section is applicable from 1st September 2019. Even any transaction which has happened even before that are not liable for deduction of TDS. Mind it, because in this particular exam, we need to be very careful as far as data are concerned, because some provision are effective from 1st October, 1st September, right? We need to be very careful while giving the answer. Now, what its section says, TDS at the rate of 5% on the amount or aggregate of amount paid or credited in a year towards contractual work or professional fees, mind it, by an individual or HUF, not subject to tax audit, right? Not subject to tax audit. अगर tax audit से तो फिर वो अलग. Where such payment exceed 50 lakhs in a year. In a year, if any amount paid exceeding 50 lakhs rupees by any individual or HUF, even though their books of accounts are not required to get audited, they need to deduct TDS at the rate of 5%, right? But whether they need to apply for 10 number, is it? No. Like 26Q, etc. property, QB, no need to apply for 10 number. They even can use their PIN number in order to reduce the compliance burden. It is proposed that such individual HUF is able to deposit TDS using their PIN in place of 10. Friends, here we are discussing, mind it, if any property is sold by non-resident, mind it, then that resident who is going to buy that property from non-resident are required to apply 10 number, mind it. This is apart from this particular discussion, right? He or she need to apply 10 number and deduct TDS accordingly, let's say 20% rate, and surcharge whatever the rate, right? In that case, 10 number is required. Now, scope has been widened. 194IA, scope of consideration for immovable property widened under section 194IA. As you know, consideration for immovable property, 1% TDS are required to deducted by the buyer. Now that particular consideration include club membership fees, car parking fees, electricity and water facility charges, maintenance fees, advance fee, whatever it is, which are incidental to transfer of the immovable property. Right, very important. Scope has been widened with effect from 1st September 2019. You can see the date. Now, very important section 194N. We will discuss in detail. We will take some time while discussing this particular section 194N, TDS on cash withdrawal. Very important section, and might you will get a question in an exam as well. Every person, be with me, every person being a banking company, a cooperative society engaged in the carrying on the business of banking, or a post office, right? Who is responsible for paying any sum, mind it, who is responsible for paying any sum, being the amount or the aggregate of amount, as the case may be, mind it, the word which is used over here is aggregate. We will see the meaning of that as well. In cash exceeding 1 crore rupees during the previous year, right? Okay. To any person, meaning thereby, who is any person? Recipient. Any person, meaning individual, company, a type of person we have in income tax. Then from one or more account, mind it, red color, please be focused on the red color, maintained by the recipient with it. Now, I'm just revising what I have read so far. Banking company, cooperative society, post office, who's responsible for paying any sum, right? Cash withdrawal, being amount or aggregate, चाहे एक साथ निकाला हो या aggregate हो, in cash exceeding 1 crore rupees, during the previous year, right? To any person, recipient कोई भी हो सकता है, from one or more account, mind it, this account can be current account, saving account, any account, one or more account maintained with that particular banking company. Then by the recipient, who will receive the amount? By the recipient, with it, recipient जो maintain करता है bank account at the time of payment of such sum, right? At what time? At the time of payment of such sum, that cash, deduct an amount equal to 2% of such sum as income tax, right? Now this amendment will be effective from 1st September 2019. A lot of queries received कि सर पहले 1 crore किस तरीके से कैलकुलेट करना है, how we need to calculate 1 crore amount. If let's assume 1 crore amount has been withdrawn even before 1st September, then what will happen? I will take an example to make you understandable. Now this is the entire scenario of the 194N section. Now there are some crux from this particular discussion. Bank-wise threshold limit. Now the limit of that 1 crore rupees, 20 lakhs का भी हुआ है. Please replace this 1 crore rupees 20 lakhs with 1 crore. 20 lakhs अभी amendment से दो जो आपके लिए applicable नहीं है. Shall apply bank-wise and not branch-wise. Clear? This is possible now due to core banking, जो CBS system है. Meaning thereby, if you are maintaining your 3 accounts with ICICI Bank but different branch, then this 1 crores limit will be taken together for the 3 account. Clear? One thing. Aggregate from all accounts, meaning thereby it can be cash credit account, it can be current account, it can be a overdraft account, saving account, whatever it may be. नाम कुछ भी हो सकता है. That 1 crore limit will be taken from all the account, right? 1 crore rupees. Now we need to see 1 crore rupees, not 20 lakhs. Please ignore 20 lakhs. TDS shall apply on excess cash withdrawal. Now, should we deduct? Let's assume an SSC withdraw 1 crore 5 lakhs rupees. So should we deduct TDS 1 crore 5 lakhs rupees? Is it? No, not at all. That amount excess 1 crore rupees. Clear? Now, one important point, friends. Now, as you see, the footprints of the TDS. Whenever any TDS has been deducted, that TDS amount, that amount which was deducted by the payer, will be treated as income under section 198. If you see the particular drafting of 198, all TDS deducted by deductor will be treated as income in the hands of the deductee. Clear? But एक नीचे लिखा गया 194 and shall not income, that particular TDS will not be treated as income that is deducted under section 190N. Clear? Now question arises whether TDS will be available for refund or to claim as an income tax. Yes, definitely. Any SAC can take the benefit of that TDS as an amount paid, right? TDS मेरी तरफ से pay किया हुआ and he can take the claim of that particular TDS. Clear? I think it is very much clear. Now, this is the example, and this will really help you a lot. See the dates here. You can see April 2019. Saving account withdrawal 25 lakhs, current account 15 lakhs on and 6th July, August, September. Mind it, this section is applicable from 1st of September, right? Then total amount which is withdrawal up to 31st August 2019 from the saving account. This one total 50 lakhs, right? And after on or after 1st September, that is 40 lakhs, right? And so on. That is 35 lakhs and that is 30 lakhs. Clear? Now, what will be the situation? If we see the total amount withdrawal from all the accounts, aggregate, saving, current, total, then total amount will be 1 crore 55 lakhs. Now question arises on what amount TDS will be deducted, right? 1 crore 55. See, first of all, we need to calculate amount withdrawal up to 31st August 2019, right? This is the total 85 lakhs. Clear? But for that we need to see threshold limit of 1 crore, right? Clear. And after that, amount which is withdrawn from the accounts is 70 lakhs. Now we need to reduce 15 lakhs out of that, because 15 lakhs has been remaining. That will make 85 to 1 crore, right? 85 and remaining 15 lakhs we need to adjust from the amount which is withdrawn on or after 1st September 2019. Clear? Now, on what amount TDS will be applicable? 70 lakhs minus 15 lakhs, that is 55 lakhs. Clear? 2%. It is 2%. Clear, I think. Now, one more question. Let's assume 1 crore limit is covered up to 31st August. यहाँ तक 1 crore पूरा निकल चुका है. Then what will happen? Then every withdrawal on or after 1st September 2019, TDS will be there. Clear? Now, one question arises. Sir, 1 crore limit should be taken from April to March, otherwise September to March, because we need to calculate threshold limit of 1 crore. Na? Then clarification has came even after this particular section. That threshold limit of 1 crore need to be adhered, taken from 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020. It is now when very interesting notification. Three notification were there. We need to take where on what type of assessee this particular section will not be applicable 194, and meaning thereby TDS will not be detected. If you see the language, section 194 will not apply to withdrawal made by the following taxpayers. Made by the following taxpayer. Withdrawal कौन निकालता है? Government body, including cooperative banks, business correspondent of a banking company, right? White label ATM operator जो है, on that now. One particular point power has been retained by the government itself. Any other person notified by the government. Very important, friends. You need to be very careful while answering the question. Even MCQ. Notification 68, 17, 80 has been issued. एक के बाद एक issue किए गए as per the requirement of the from the assessee. A lot of presentation came to the government, and they have decided and issued a notification number 68 dated 89. What it says, cash replacement agencies, CRAB, and franchise agent of white label automatic teller machine operator, जो cash replace करते हैं banking वगैरह में, उन पे ये applicable नहीं होगा as per the said notification. मैं notification यहाँ पे नहीं जा रहा हूँ, थोड़ी terms and condition भी है each notification, पर major part यही है. Notification number 70, 29/2019. Commission agent or trader operating under APMC, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee, and registered under any law related to the agriculture market or concerned state have been exempted subject to the conditions specified there. जैसे कि हम मंडीज की बात करें, हमारी जो ग्रामीण मंडी होती है, शहरों में भी मंडीज होती है, they need registered, and application we are not required to comply this particular section. No TDS will be detected, right? Next notification, authorized dealer and its franchises agent and sub agent full-fledged जो money changer रहेंगे, that should be licensed by RBI, right? तो उन पे भी ये section applicable नहीं. Minded three category: first case replacement, commission agent, and then full-fledged money changer जो रहेंगे, right? Three. इन पे ये section applicable नहीं होने वाला है. Clear? 194, and I think it is very much clear. Now going further, inclusion of NBFC in section very important, 43D and 43B. As you know, benefit of section 43D, benefit what? Benefit interest already available to banks, public financial institution, deposit taking NBFC, and systematically important non-deposit taking NBFC. Now NBFC has been cut for what? According now, even in case of above categories of NBFC, what will happen? The interest income, mind it, in relation to certain categories of the bad and doubtful debts shall be chargeable to tax in the previous year in which it is credited to P&L account or actually received, whichever is earlier. What it says, 93D, 43D, sorry. Interest income or certain type of bad debts and doubtful debts will be chargeable to tax on the basis of accrual. You can say credit in the P&L account or actually received by that NBFC and the financial institution, whichever is earlier, will be chargeable to tax. Clear? But now, if we see the 43B, because 43B, what 43B says? 43B says deduction with respect to the following items will be available at the time of making payment of these items, irrespective of the method of accounting followed by the assessee basis. Now, consequently, what will happen? Section 43B to provide that any sum payable by the assessee as interest, any loan or advance taken from that above category of NBFC. Earlier it was not there, NBFC, financial institution was there. But now NBFC has also been taken in the 43B, shall be allowed as deduction only if it is actually paid on or before the due date of the filing the return. 199 क्लियर, क्योंकि 43B डिडक्शन देता भी है, वो भी अगर आप रिटर्न फाइल से पहले अगर पेमेंट कर देते हैं तो इट इज वेरी मच क्लियर. Now, there again some we can say deemed tax filers, very important. Changes made in Finance Act 2097, proviso of Section 139(1). There are three categories of assessee. Even though, mind it, even though they do not have any, in spite of that, they are required to file their return under the 7th proviso of Section 139(1). Now, what is 7th proviso? ये क्या कहता है? Mind it, even though assessee do not have any income, but still, if he falls under any of the three category, he is liable to file the income tax return. First, deposit. First category, deposit exceed 1 crore in one or more current accounts, mind it, maintained with a banking company or cooperative bank. Clear? Any deposit made in current account, one or more current account, mind it, exceed 1 crore, that assessee needs to file the return. Clear? Now, second category, exceed 2 lakhs expended for himself or other person for travel to a foreign country. If that assessee expend not paid, exceed 2 lakhs either on himself or any other person for traveling to a foreign country, right? तो ये क्या रिटर्न भरना पड़ेगा in spite of that, चाहे उसके पास टैक्सेबल इनकम है या नहीं है. अब ट्रैकिंग सिस्टम क्या रहेगा? इवन दो वी हैव न्यू सिस्टम ऑफ 26 years, तो वहां से भी ट्रेसिंग हो सकती है इन ड्यू कोर्स. सब कुछ दैट ऑल द थिंग्स विल गेट कनेक्टेड, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं से इंफॉर्मेशन डिपार्टमेंट विल गेट. नाउ थर्ड कैटेगरी, exceed 1 lakh incurred as expenditure toward consumption of electricity, right? अगर कोई भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पे एक्सपेंडिचर हुआ है, माइंड इट, एक्सपेंडिचर नॉट पेड, लेट्स अज्यूम you have booked the electricity expenses but not paid in the books of accounts, right? Or no need to worry about the books of accounts. If any assessee is paying electricity bill of his house exceed 1 lakh rupees, he or she needs to file the return. Clear? Mind it, this requirement. If otherwise assessee is required to file, otherwise from 7th proviso, let's assume there is a company assessee, like let's assume there is an individual he is required to file return under section 139(1), right? Because its income is exceeding taxable amount, non-taxable amount, right? So he needs to file the return under section 139(1). तो यहाँ पे फिर उसके लिए इसका रिलेवेंस नहीं रह जाता. This particular proviso is applicable in case where assessee is otherwise not required to file the return. In that case, assessee is required to file the return under the 7th proviso. Now, major amendment has been done, friends. We have certain categories of the assessee, those who are required to file the return before the due dates, and the due date has been prescribed under section 139(1). Majorly three types of due dates we can say majorly. Earlier it was 30th September, right? मैं सीधा आता हूँ, company assessee and person where accounts are required to get audited, right? And third, partner of the firm whose accounts are required to get audited. मतलब firm का accounts का audit होता है, उसका partner भी liable है इस 31st October की due date के लिए. Previously it was 30th September. Mind it, now the date has been moved to 31st October. Earlier it was 30th September. Clear? Mind it, major amendment has been done. MCQ question, partner. Earlier, the word which is used over here is the working partner. Clear? Working partner is there. Now, working partner is now replaced with partner only. So in case of a partner also, whether is sleeping or working, 31st October will be there. 30th October, 30th November, and 31st July as usual in other cases. But now one major amendment has been done under section 44 AB. earlier the due date of filing the tax audit report. Tax audit report was 30th September. Right? 30th September. Now, this particular section has been amended. What it says? It says 1 month prior to due date of filing the return. Meaning thereby, if 31st is the due date, then due date of filing the tax audit report is 30th September. If due date has been extended for filing the return, automatically due date of filing the tax audit report will be extended, will get extended. Now हम देखते हैं अभी 1920 की due date extend हो गई है, आगे 31 जनवरी 2021 भी हो गई है, but we are not even concerned about that. Friends, यहाँ एक major discussion है. Let's assume nothing is given in the question itself about the due date of filing the return, about tax audit. Then 31st October and 30th November, whatever, and 30th September tax audit report. But we should write a proper note for that, right? If any date has been given, due date has been given in the question itself, then no need to worry. Otherwise, you need to write a note regarding the same. Clear? Now, a major discussion, very important. I'm sure, I am very much sure meaning thereby 90 to 99%. Not 100%, we cannot be sure 100%. One question will be asked in this particular discussion that we are going to do within 15 to 20 minutes. Major rate has been defined and major changes has been done in this particular section of the company's taxation part. There are various rates, 15%, 22%, 25%, 30%, 40%. And we are very confused because, friends, one more thing. There are section 115 BAA or BAB. Let's assume you have a question in front of you, and it does not say about opening of 115 BAB, right? Then what will happen? You have a simple question in front of you, and all the condition has been satisfied, which is given under BAB. And question has been framed in such a way that please advise the assessee, company assessee, about the taxation part. Mind it, we need to calculate taxation as per the normal provision, as per the BAB, to make that assessee understandable, to make that our examiner जो copy check करेगा understandable कि sir, we have knowledge of that, and based on our calculation we can compare it and can advise our assessee कि this section is really beneficial to you, you can opt that. But before that, we need to be very careful and understand the entire discussion. Here are different type of categories: domestic company, right, and a foreign company. Domestic company, Indian company who are registered under 2013-1956 Companies Act, and mind it, companies who made arrangement for declaring dividend out of the income chargeable to tax in India, right, chargeable to tax in India. Then that company, even though this particular criteria, that company is foreign company, but if that company is making arrangement for declaring dividend out of the income chargeable to tax India, will be treated as domestic company, because most of the benefit of the reduced tax rate is available only to the domestic company and the foreign company as well, right? Then there are certain changes in the Finance Act 2019. Here, before 2019, there are again reduced tax rate of 25% for those company, domestic company only, whose turnover in the financial year 17-18 was not exceeding to 250 crores rupees, right? Now in 2019 Finance Act, this limit has been extended to 400 crore rupees. Now that company can opt 25% taxation rate, clear? And foreign company 40% in general, right? But now two section has been new insertion of the two section, 115 BAA and BAB. Now we need to discuss these as well, because one question is there, I believe. 115 BAA, what it says, concessional rate of 22%, and mind it, concessional rate. And afterwards, we will discuss even international taxation changes made in Finance Act 2019 and few other changes that are relevant for exam point of view. Those are relevant for exam point of view. Concessional tax rate 22%, surcharge is there 10%, and 4% cess is there. Mind it, this is the fixed rate. If any company opting 115 BAA, this is the fixed rate, right? For a domestic company. Now, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि डिपार्टमेंट कोई बेनिफिट दे और कुछ वापस ना ले. Very difficult in this particular scenario, right? तो क्या है, उन्होंने there are certain conditions like non-availability of profit-linked deduction, right? Like ATI. In case of ATI, there are certain exemption of the income. 3 to 5 years tax will not be there, right? In case you are earning the profit, तो वो profit-linked जो deduction है will not be available. Number 8. Second, additional depreciation under section 32(1)(2)(a) will not be there. Mind it, additional depreciation 20% जो new machinery पे हम charge करते हैं. Apart from that, whether normal depreciation will be available? Yes, definitely available. Now, deduction under section 33AB and ABA, development account deduction not available, ABA site restoration fund not available, scientific research deduction under section 35 not available. Deduction under section 35AD, right, for specified business like beekeeping, warehouse, like cold chain facility, etc. Section 35CCC, agriculture extension project not available, skill development 35CCD. These deductions are not available with the SSC. Mind it, friends. Friends, one confusion, even in practical scenario, I have received a call from various CAs, even student as well. So whether loss will be carried forward or not, because these deduction are not available with the SSC. But we have heard about that loss. Even if we obtain 115 BAA, BAB, loss will not be carried forward. Any unobserved loss. It's not like that, friends. Loss will be carried forward, except the loss which arises due to these activities. Let's assume 35AD. Loss is there because of that, because we can claim the capital expenditure, 100% capital expenditure deduction as well. Because of that, loss has been arose. So can we claim that brought forward losses? Not at all, because this is relates to these activity. Mind it, normal loss will be carried forward as usual as it was there. But no loss will be carried forward. Those are related to these sections only. Mind it. Now, 115, this is again a concessional rate for domestic company, right? 115 BAB, what it says, concessional rate of 15%, 10%, 4%, right? That makes this particular rate 17.16%. Amazing. We can even, amazing is clear because very, even you can say in the history of companies taxation rate, what I have remember, 17.16 is a very great rate as far as SSC is concerned. But it is available for only to manufacturing domestic company, right? Manufacturing domestic company should not be formed by splitting up. It should be a new company set up and registered on or after 1st October 2019 and commence manufacturing on or before 31st March 2023. Mind it. Business activity can be commenced on or before 2023, but company should be get registered themselves as on or after 1st October 2019. Clear? Subject to certain condition like non-availability of profit link, deduction, additional depreciation, etc. Same condition which are available in this particular, which is given under this 115 BAA. But mind it, friends, the manufacturing domestic company, even though in a section 2 के अंदर definition दी गई है manufacturing production की, but in the section itself, the business of manufacturing of products shall not include, mind its MCQs. Even subjective question, you can have this type of activity in your question, and mind it, you cannot opt 115 BAB for that. What these are what activities are given in this particular section? What type of activities? Development of computer software, mining, bottling of gas into cylinders, printing books, production of cinematograph films, right? It is clear. Now, taxability. There are again certain conditions imposed along with this particular section. 115 BA, mind it friends. Now, again, you will have some question in your paper. As far as 115 BA concerned, assessee have option to defer opting of this section. Deferment of opting this particular section 115 BAA, meaning thereby assessee can do make analysis regarding the benefit available to him, like if he has unconsumed deduction under section 35 AD, if he has deduction, if he has profit link deduction, then he can hold this particular opting for this particular section, right? Now he has option to defer this particular section. Clear? Have option. Made credit B is also not available. In the next slide we will discuss. Made credit is also not available if assessee opting both the sections. And 115 JB will not be applicable in the case of 115 BAA BAB. Clear? Now question arises. What about 115 BAB? Mind it, friends. What it says, the option for section 115 BAB has to be exercised in a very first year, and first year will be in our particular exam starting from 1st October 2019, because company should be registered on or after 1st October 2019. In a very first year, if you have a question in an exam, let's say a manufacturing company registered after this particular period, 1st October, and they have earned turnover of rupees, let's assume 100 crores, whatever it may be. Then if you want to advise your assessee in that particular question, answer that particular question, then what would be your part of answer? This particular provision. Then whether the deferment option is available in this particular section, not at all. Assessee needs to file his intention before the due date of the return. Before the due date of the return under section 139(1). Meaning thereby, assessee need to opt this particular section in the very first year. If a company is incorporated after 1st October, then 1920, before the due date of filing the return, he need to opt. If they are not opting, they cannot take benefit of this reduced tax rate in future. Mind it, very important. Future, they cannot. Very much clear. Before the due date. If due date has been extended, then definitely opting of this particular section time jo hai, that will also get extended if due date is extended. Now, some interesting point. Now question arises, whether after opting section 115 BA or BAB, can assessee opt normal provision? There is no option कि opt कर सकता है and then वापस नहीं कर सकता. No other option. If assessee opt, then that assessee need to derive tax according to these provision only. He cannot opt normal provision. Now, sir, if he opted normal provision, then in that case, then in future he will not be eligible to opt 115 BA and BAB. एक बार अगर वो बाहर आ गया तो फिर फ्यूचर में वो नहीं जा सकता. Now measure, made credit will not be available. 115 JB is also not there in case of these sections. Clear? Now, one question arises. Let's assume a manufacturing company who has get registered themselves after 1st October 2019 forgot to opt this particular section 115 BAB on or before the due date. Can that company opt BAA? Yes. There is option available because BAA says any company, domestic company, whether this company engaged in a particular business of manufacturing or service industry, whatever it may be. Clear? Now, some interesting, and definitely one question will be there. Minimum one question will be there. Concessional rate, sir. Even could you please elaborate all types of income of these company will be taxable at the rate which is specified under this section, like 22% and the 15%, not at all. See this particular table. Concessional rate income, which income? If you see, only BAA 25.168%, 22 plus surcharge 10% and 4% says all the income, notwithstanding anything contained in the act except chapter 12, right? Chapter 12 पे कितना लगने वाला है वो आता हूँ उस पे, जो specified rate है chapter 12 की वो ही लगने वाली है. BAB, mind it, only income derived from the manufacturing or production, that will be taxable at the rate 15% only. Now friends, very important discussion. A change has been done under section 92BA. 92B transfer pricing in case of domestic transaction. Amendment has been done, and that amendment has been done to include these type of activity that we are going to discuss right now. Let's take an example. Because rates are so low, 15% plus sales and plus surcharge and sales, then assessor, what assessor can think कि जो 100 रुपए का माल है, जो पहले the cost of one product is 100 rupees, then earlier that assessee, company assessee was selling this product at the rate of 115 rupees. Now what he is thinking कि अभी tax तो कम हो गया है, so we can sell this particular product with a margin, fake 20%, 30%, 130. Then what will happen? They are just generating the income with a reduced tax rate. They are claiming that now ALP provision will be applicable on that. Excess amount, ALP is 115. Any excess amount above that particular ALP will be taxed at the rate 30%. Power has been given to you. 30% plus 10%, irrespective of your total income, plus 4%. That make this particular tax rate 34.32%. Very important discussion. Now, what chapter 12 says? कि भाई chapter 12 के अंदर जो rates हैं, chapter 12 what it prescribe? It prescribe special rate in case of special transaction, like in case of 1A, 112A long-term capital gain in case of equity oriented fund. In these type of categories, special rate has been defined. Now, if assessee, company assessee is having these particular income specified in chapter 12, then that income will be taxed at the rate specified in chapter 12, right? In case of long-term capital gain under section 112, 20%. 20% plus 10% plus 4%. Clear? Same way under section 115 BAB. Right? I think this is make you very clear. One question is there, definitely. Point 2. What about, sir, if let's assume company is having interest income, then whether that interest will be taxable at the rate of 15%? Is it? Manufacturing company? No, not at all. In case of 115 BA, what type of income is there? We are discussing income on which no specific tax rate has been defined under chapter 12. In this particular section, 22%, 10%, 4%, the same rate. But in this particular section, the tax rate was 15%, that is 17.16, right? If you remember. Then this income will be taxable 22% at the rate 22%. No restriction with respect to deduction allowance, right? And what about rate on tax rate on short-term capital gain, which no depreciation is allowable? कुछ ऐसे assets इन पे depreciation allowable नहीं है. On that case, similar rate 22% with 10% and 4% cess. I think this is the entire discussion about 115 BA and BAB. Now, again, it changes in the MAT. Very important. If you see this particular aided by Finance Act 2018, this question from this particular amendment was asked in 2019 May exam. Now, amendment has been done in 2019, then I1 probability of question is very high. As far as 115 JB is concerned, we have seen there are some positive adjustment, meaning thereby we need to add that adjustment in book a particular profit to derive the book profit, and there are some negative adjustment. We need to deduct this type of adjustment. I am not going through with the entire provision of 115 GB. I am just taking care of the amendment which has been brought by the Finance Act 2019. What it says, friends, if you remember that 11 point, if you say there is again a provision, brought forward losses, or word which is used over there is or unobserved depreciation, whichever is lower. Right, if you remember, whichever is lower, we need to deduct that amount from the profit we have above the line. Clear? Now, in this particular section, amendment, what it was there, I am just going through with the language which is used in this particular amendment. Aggregate amount of brought forward and unabsorbed depreciation. The word which is used is and. We need to make the adjustment. We need to less that particular amount. And meaning thereby we need to add both the amount. Brought forward losses and unabsorbed depreciation. In a case amended by Finance Act 2019, please be with me, company and its subsidiary and the subsidiary of the such subsidiary. Clear? Company, subsidiary and subsidiary of this subsidiary, right? Where the tribunal, NCLT we can say, on an application tribunal moved by the central government under section 241 of the Companies Act. क्योंकि जब ऐसा लगता है कि कंपनी का मैनेजमेंट कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा, बोर्ड कुछ भी काम नहीं कर रहा, लॉस हो रहा है या फ्रॉड हो सकता है, कुछ whatever the reason in the view in eye of central government, then central government has suspended the board of directors of that company and has appointed new director who are nominated by the central government under section 242. Clear? It will be clearly given in the question itself. राइट कि ऐसी पोजीशन है उस डेट कंपनी की. तो माइंडेड फ्रेंड्स, अगेन 115 JP वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट section as far as exam point of view is concerned. In that case, we need to add both the amount and those adjustment from the profit. And second condition, I think you remember, aggregate of the amount of the unabsorbed depreciation and loss brought forward, aggregate of amount, right? Brought forward in case of a company against whom an application for corporate insolvency resolution process has been admitted by the adjudicating authority under section 7 and insolvency and bankruptcy code, right? IB code के according insolvency की application माइंडेड फाइल नहीं, admitted by the admit हो चुकी है. In that case, हमें क्या करना है? Add करना है both the amount. It may be noted that loss does not include depreciation, right? Because loss does not include depreciation. One observed depreciation is a separately we can add. Major amendment. Now, made provision one more amendment. As per explanation for section 115 JB, it is clarified that made provision shall not be applicable and shall be deemed never to have been applicable to an assessee being a foreign company, minded friends, being a foreign company. If the assessee is a resident of a country, or a specified territory with which India has an agreement, mind it, under DTAA, referred to in subsection 1 of section 90, if you remember, or the central government has adopted any agreement under subsection 190, right? Agreement hai. And the assessee does not have a permanent establishment in India, mind it. We have an agreement and the assessee do not have any permanent establishment in India according with the provision of the agreement. In that case, 115 JB will not be applicable. Amendment. Or otherwise, the assessee is a resident of a country with which India does not have any agreement. In a first point, we have agreement. Does not have agreement of the nature referred to clause in 1, and the assessee is not required to seek registration under any law. कोई जरूरत भी नहीं है for the time being in force relating to the companies. कहीं कुछ जरूरत नहीं है registration की, कुछ नहीं है ऐसा. In that case, 115 JB not applicable. My dear friends, very important. Since we again, I'm saying, since we have MCQ, you should be very careful while answering the question. Second amendment, very important amendment. MATE rate has been reduced from 18.5% to 15%. My dear friends, from assessment year 2021, meaning thereby it is applicable for financial year 1920. One more amendment, I think I have not taken into this particular slide. That is any company situated at IFSC, International Financial Service Center. In that case, MATE rate will be 9% only. Clear? In that case, MATE rate will be 9% only. Amendment in Finance Act 2019. क्लियर? तो ये अमेंडमेंट भी बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. नाउ एक और मेजर अमेंडमेंट with effect from 5th July 2019. There is again some dates has been specified. We need to remember those dates because we need to give answer according to the date. Earlier, prior to 5th July 2019, only buyback of unlisted shares by domestic company will attract additional income tax, right? Hence, holder of unlisted share get exempted under section 1034A, right? Additional tax was there for buyback of unlisted shares by a domestic company. Now situation has been changed. On or after 5th July 2019, now all domestic company, mind it, all domestic company irrespective listed or not listed are under the purview of 115 QA, right? 115 QA buyback, meaning thereby rate will be 20%, 12%, 4%. Then now what will be the situation? Taxability in the hands of company, buyback of share by a domestic company, right? Domestic company. Then if company के हाथ में क्या होगा? Subject to additional tax rate, right? Buyback 23.29. Buyback of share by a company other than domestic company, right? Other than domestic, because this particular section is applicable on the domestic company, right? No subject to tax. And buyback of specified security by a company, right? Because specified securities, then no subject to tax, because domestic company, whether listed or unlisted, right? Shares. This section is applicable on the listed or unlisted shares, right? A specified security, no need to pay tax by the company. Now the situation in the hands of a shareholder, since tax has been paid by the company in this particular situation, shares है, क्योंकि ये shares पे applicable है. Now in case of buyback, company needs to pay the tax, irrespective of the type, whether listed or unlisted. Exempted since tax paid by the company. Buyback of share by a company. Now here no tax is there, then taxable as a capital gain. And again, taxable as a capital gain because no tax has been paid by the company, right? It is clear to all of you. Now, some major changes has been done. Section 56 to 10. Friends, it's again entire theory. I will let you know what it is. What happened? जो unauthorized properties, जो colonies thing, now they are going to be taking legal shape, or for getting legal shape, they need to have some document. Now, in case of Delhi NCR, a lot of colonies do not have proper registry, not in a legal shape, unauthorized colonies. Now government has decided to make them authorized one, to make all the entire unauthorized colony in a legal shape. Now listen me carefully. What section 56(2)(10) says? It says if any SSC are getting any property without consideration or without insufficient or with insufficient consideration, lower consideration we can say, then in the hands of recipient, that amount of property will be taxable if exceed 50,000 se zyada hai to. Now in this particular unauthorized colonies, because purchase has been made even before you can say 10 years, 2 years, 50 years. तो अब कुछ अथोराइज करने के लिए दिल्ली एनसीआर, ओनली दिल्ली एनसीआर की बात कर रहे हैं अपन, ये इट इज गिवन इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन एस्पेक्ट, राइट? तो here you can find out, accordingly the central government has filed this notification rule 11 UAC to provide that the provision section 56(2)(10) shall not apply to any movable property being land or building or both received by a resident of an unauthorized colony in the NCT, right? तो अब क्या होगा, वो unauthorized colony के लिए पेपर बनेंगे, let's assume power of attorney, registry deed, तो consideration will not be there क्योंकि already consideration तो जा चुका है. तो if consideration is not there, then section 56(2)(10) will be applicable. In that case, it should be taxable in the hands of assessee. Now, because of this notification, no tax will be there according to this section. Clear? Now, international taxation. Few points. Deem accrual of income in case of person outside India. Very major changes has been done. If you see the section 224 definition of income, one amendment has been done. What it is? In relation to a non-resident receiving gift from a person resident in India shall be deemed to be accrue or arise in India in relation to a non-resident receiving gift from a person resident in India. Right? Mind it. Accordingly, it is proposed to widen the definition of the term income referred to section 224 to include income of a non-resident in relation to any sum money received or any property situated in India transferred without or in adequate consideration on or after 5th July 2009 by a person resident in India. Crux. If any resident transfer property or money to non-resident and it is exceed amount, what amount? 50,000 rupees, because gift पे वो 50,000 वाला rules applicable होता है, then it will be taxable in the hands of non-resident only, right? Earlier under the definition of income it was not there. Income किसका होगा? Non-resident का. But mind it, there are certain exemption given under section 56(2)(10). क्या था? Relative, marriage, will, वो यहाँ भी applicable रहेगा. Clear? और DTA में कुछ अगर relevant article applicable है तो वो applicable होगा ही होगा, right? International taxation. Now, एक और amendment, advance pricing arrangement. Clarification with regard to power of assessing officer in respect of modified return of income filed in pursuant to the signing of advance pricing agreement. You know, advance pricing agreement में अगर कुछ define होता है about method and accordingly अगर assessment में जो earlier that was completed हो चुके हैं, तो what was the provision earlier? Do that particular AO need to open again that year file and do the fresh assessment? No. With effect from 1st September 2019. Section 92 CDE to clarify that in case where assessment or reassessment has already been completed and modified return of income has been filed by the taxpayer, mind it, क्योंकि modified हो जाता है, you know, advance pricing agreement के according जो decide हुआ वो हम कर सकते हैं पीछे जाके, right? The assessing officer shall pass an order modifying the total income of the relevant assessment year determined in such assessment or reassessment, right? Modify the total income, mind it, not do the fresh assessment, having regard to in accordance with the APA, and not start fresh assessment or reassessment in respect of the completed assessment. Mind it, friends, no fresh assessment has been done if assessment has already been completed. Very important. वापस करने की जरूरत नहीं है, right? Now, next amendment, secondary adjustment, clarification and option for one-time tax payment. ये 1 अप्रैल 2018 से पूछा है. अब 19 से क्या चेंज हुआ, that we will see in the next slide itself. Under section, we will see what was the changes that's been done in 2018 Finance Act. Section 92C clarified, 92C clarified secondary adjustment provision are applied to primary adjustment. Primary adjustment has been done by the even SSC AO, right? Based on the ALP. And secondary adjustment, you know, कि उसको एसोसिएटेड एंटरप्राइजेस के बुक्स के अंदर जैसा भी रहता है एडजस्टमेंट एक्सेस मनी का, तो वो हम सेकेंडरी एडजस्टमेंट उसको बोलते हैं. प्राइमरी एडजस्टमेंट डिटरमाइंड बाय एपीए एंटर्ड इनटू ऑन और आफ्टर 1 अप्रैल 2017. Again, secondary adjustment provision are to apply to primary adjustment, right? Determined by APA entered into on or after 17. Threshold condition of 1 crore, as you know, that of the primary adjustment made up to assessment year 16 and 17 are alternate condition. एक और condition, no refund of taxes has already been paid till date under the pre-amendment section would be allowed. कुछ ऐसा refund वगैरह नहीं था, ये आप जानते हैं, ये सब है. Interest to be calculated on the excess money, as you know, कि भाई if there is again income has been found because of the ALP and repatriation has not been made by the associated enterprise within the prescribed time limit, then that excess money will be treated as advance in the hands of the associated enterprise and interest will be calculated accordingly, right? You know very well. Now in 2019, what was the changes? Now option for assessee, be with me, to pay additional वो टैक्स तो लगेगा ही लगेगा, इनकम टैक्स एट द रेट ऑफ 18%, माइंड इट 18% प्लस सरचार्ज ऑफ 12% सेस है, वो तो है ही है, on such excess money or part thereof beside the existing requirement of calculation of interest till the date of payment of this additional tax. What it want to say is, now be with me, in case where excess money or part thereof has not been repatriated within the prescribed time limit, let's say 90 days, then SSC again option has been given to the SSC कि भैया पैसा नहीं आ रहा, repatriated नहीं हुआ, then SSC needs to pay it in this particular option कि भैया आप 18% plus surcharge और cess total 20.9664% पे आप पे कर सकते हैं on such excess money और पार्ट thereof जितना भी नहीं आया, as the case may be, and this particular additional tax has been paid by the SSC. तो अब क्या इसको सेकेंडरी एडजस्टमेंट करना पड़ेगा क्या? अदरवाइज तो करना पड़ता था बुक्स के अंदर इंटरेस्ट वगैरह का कैलकुलेशन, नो नीड टू. पर कहां तक क्या लिखा? वेयर एडिशनल इनकम टैक्स इज सो पेड बाय द SSC, he will not be required to make secondary adjustment and compute interest from the date of payment of such tax, meaning thereby from the date of payment of such tax, yani till the date of payment of such tax, secondary adjustment is required to get me done. Clear? It's very important. Yani kahan se nahi karna padega from the date of payment of such additional tax, but till the date of payment of such additional tax, वहां तक तो वो एडजस्टमेंट रहेगा ही रहेगा. वेरी इंपोर्टेंट. Tax so paid shall be the final payment of tax and no credit shall be allowed in respect of amount so paid, right? कोई ऐसा credit नहीं मिलने वाला, and deduction in respect of amount so paid shall not be allowed under any other provision of act. उसका डिडक्शन भी नहीं मिलने वाला कि भाई हम कुछ डिडक्शन ले लें, एक्सपेंडिचर क्लेम कर लें, ऐसा कुछ मिलने वाला नहीं है फ्रेंड्स. Now friends, by this way we have done some major even within time before we have 10 minutes more, some few important discussion that I have keep with me. Friends, since we have gone through these particular amendments, definitely out of this particular discussion, you will have some questions attended in the exam. And mind it, read the question before answering any particular question. Read the question in detail till the last and then start the answering. Otherwise, we have seen various incidents. Even I have received various feedback कि सर वो लास्ट में लाइन हमने देखा, क्वेश्चन किया, we have done almost entire thing. Let's assume in the at the last it is written in the question itself that assessing need to 115 BAB, and you have done the entire calculation according to the normal provision and according to the BAB. Then the normal provision which you have done, it's waste of time. And since you know 100 question marks we need to attempt at any cost. So read the question very carefully, and while answering MCQ, you need to be very careful. Or if you have any question in your mind, just discuss with your friends, but don't waste the entire time कि भाई नई चीज उठाया है और उसको हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं. Don't puzzle yourself, and please avoid social media as well. I have seen a lot of videos, even someone tagged me in a Twitter as well कि सर ऐसा है. You just concentrate on the exam. जो भी क्वेश्चन होगा, जो भी डिसीजन होगा, वो ICAI लेने वाला है. We cannot do anything. हम अपने आप माइंड्स को काफी पजल करते हैं, सोचते रहते हैं कोई नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आया. Need not to worry. We just concentrate on the study and think about the exam only. Refresh your mind with other means only, not social media. वहां से आपको कुछ न कुछ ऐसा मिलेगा that distract your mind. So please keep yourself away from this particular social media, videos, etc. and prepare in a very effective way. Best wishes from my side. Any help you require, you can contact me on this particular contact number. Now on my YouTube channel, see Abhishek Jain, and you can write me any question, even you can ask me. Don't get worried. Just drop me a WhatsApp message. I will call you up. Thanks a lot from my side. Thank you once again. And once again, best wishes from my side. Thank you. Thank you very much.